What do you see as some of the biggest problems going on in our country today?
I think some of the biggest problems going on in our country today, we have so many celebrities telling people that they can't do it. Telling a lot of people, oh, you can't do it. Like, you got to feel bad for yourself, feel sorry for yourself, which is sad to me because
That
when
you're a
they made
victim.
it,
Yeah.
they've done it, but they're telling you can't do it. And it's like, God, you did it. Why they can't do it? I think they tell our kids that they can't do it, or to making our kids feel sorry for themselves.
Okay, so there were a lot of words there, and usually hearing the person say whatever it is that they're saying, that helps. I'm not sure that in this case it did. Herschel Walker, who's going to be the Republican nominee for Senate, I want to read what he said and see if we can figure out, because he was asked, what are some of the biggest problems? And so this is what he chose to focus on amongst everything. Actual substantive critiques of what's going on in America is an option. BS Republican narratives, you could just go to one of those. Instead, he goes to this. He says, I think some of the biggest problems going on in our country today, we have so many celebrities telling people that they can't do it. Telling a lot of people, oh, and you can't do it, like you gotta feel bad for yourself, feel sorry for yourself, which is sad to me because they done it, but they telling you can't do it. And it's like, God, you did it, why can't they do it? I think that tell all kids that they can't do it, or making our kids feel sorry for themselves and not having it, don't want to educate, you don't quit. But Herschel Walker, I would just beg you to please quit. Please quit and get out of the race, because you are not qualified to fill in the blank, honestly. But one of the things that could be in that blank very much is serve in the US Senate. I mean, we've been critical of other politicians that don't have the mental faculties. We criticize Joe Biden when he falls apart in the middle of a speech, but Joe Biden has never had a moment like whatever that was, David. What do you make of this? One of the big issues in America, celebrities telling you that you can't do it.
Well, to give Herschel Walker the benefit of the doubt, I guess, and it's a guess because it's hard to understand him. I guess he's talking about success or being successful or chasing your dreams. But putting that aside, what he's running for the US Senate, the world's greatest deliberative body. He's not running for the House, where you've got all kinds of clowns and freaks who can win election and do crazy stuff. No, in the Senate, this is supposed to be the place where people have great debates, great discussions, intellectual back and forth and discourse. So just on that alone, he would simply be a placeholder. He would simply be, I don't know, just some sort of symbol for the voters of Georgia. The unfortunate thing is that's the way I think a lot of Georgia voters look at politics and look at the US Senate today. They don't care about the issues, they don't care about discourse. They simply want to have one of their heroes in office.
And maybe they should, pragmatically. Maybe like you'd watch Herschel Walker and think this guy's completely lost. But he'll probably be told to vote with the Republicans, and he probably will. So at the end of the day, in many cases, does it really matter, I guess, that it's Herschel Walker rather than a Perdue or a whoever? I still think yes, kind of. I'm trying to play devil's advocate, but like seriously, if you're a person in that state, you're a conservative, you conceivably might want your representative to not just press one button rather than another when it comes to a vote, but be a leader, advocate for your state, do work for your constituents back in your state. They're not just supposed to be in DC. Maybe sponsor legislation, conduct yourself in Senate hearings, grill Supreme Court nominees. There is so much more than just voting one way or another. And I don't see how he's going to do any of that. If Georgia picks him, they're gonna have their outsider, I guess. So on that, purely like feelings-based level, they'll get what they want or something. But they are gonna lose so much influence.
Well, if he wins, I guarantee he will not be on the Senate Judiciary Committee. So we don't have to worry about him even having the opportunity to question Supreme Court justice nominees or anybody else. But again, I think to your point, I would imagine, and look, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader, has grudgingly come along to sort of supporting Herschel Walker, but I think even he sees some of the problems, and that Herschel Walker could be something of a wild card because he is so difficult to understand, because he is such a non-traditional type of person, and because it's difficult to sort of follow where his mind is and what he's thinking. And so, a guy who has been a Heisman Trophy winner, a national championship winner in college football, a Georgia star, will he always listen to Republicans who are telling him push this button, do this? Maybe, I guess that's what they're counting on, but that could also, he may not. And so I think there's a lot of unknowns about him, except for the fact that maybe he's not qualified.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of unknowns. Like, is he going to vote one way or another? Is he going to get lost in the woods or something? It's just we need to have people with a base level of competence. And he is a person who doesn't need a position in the Senate. He is a person who needs help, like assistance. Clearly, I'm not trying to be an a-hole with this. I didn't want to, for how long, to the audience, for how long did I not talk about Herschel Walker because I was so uncomfortable with it? But at a certain point, I mean, come on, we can't deny the evidence before our eyes. And by the way, very quickly to finalize his quote, if the idea is that celebrities are telling people they can't be successful, that is the exact opposite of what most celebrity, I don't even know which celebrity he's talking about. And Henry Winkler, who is admittedly a celebrity, says, aren't you kind of a celebrity, Herschel Walker? Herschel Walker is literally only the nominee because he's a celebrity. So celebrities are, they're generally, don't they sell optimism? I don't even understand what he's trying to say. And by the way, this isn't necessarily the scandal of his that I want to focus on. There's more substantive stuff about the way that he expresses himself, generally in terms of his inability to tell the truth. We didn't even cover that he recently said, well, it's recently resurfaced that in 2019, he said, I worked for law enforcement. Y'all didn't know that either. I spent time at Quantico at the FBI training school. Y'all didn't know I was an agent. He wasn't an agent. Campaign spokesperson says that he led women's self-defense training and held the title of honorary deputy in Cobb County. Honorary deputy, it's not a real thing. It's like when Jim gave Dwight a certificate of bravery that he printed out on the office. And I don't know which is worse. Is it that he's lying about this or that he doesn't know? That it's like when Boy Scouts go and they give them a certificate. He's been talking about this. That happened years and years and years ago. He still thinks that he's like a secret agent or something, David.
Well, look, clearly he has had some concussions in his career, his football career. And maybe that's sort of what's going on, that he just, there's something going on with his consciousness that isn't all there, and all he sort of remembers is, yes, he won the Heisman Trophy, yes, he was a national champion, and everybody in Georgia loves him, and that's good enough for him, and he can sort of brag and say whatever he wants. The unfortunate thing is, he's also not, look, I think it's becoming clear based on the scandals and everything coming out about the number of kids that he had out of wedlock, and that he wasn't paying child support for. He doesn't sound like he's a good person. So just on that alone, I would hope some voters take pause.